All right, welcome, Buff fans. We're continuing our series of opponent previews, and please be joined by Jay Drew, who covers BYU for the Deseret News. And Jay, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's kind of a slow time of year, so good time to knock these out and talk
Yeah,
about.
and for the longest time, there was no reason to talk to BYU beat writers because CU didn't play the Cougars for a very long time, and now here's twice in less than a year. Of course, the unusual conference opponent bowl game, in San
Yeah.
Antonio in December, and quite a year for BYU, and good year for Colorado, but really unexpected year for BYU last year, and that now they get to come to Boulder this year, and so. Um, First off, are you looking forward to coming to Boulder? Have you seen the game at Folsom Field yet?
I have not. I've been there several times. I've been to several BYU Colorado basketball games, including one this last January,
Yeah.
and a few before that non-conference games. But yeah, I've never seen a football game at Folsom Field, so I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm glad that it's not in November, that it's
Yeah.
in September, because I've seen some of the clips of those old Utah, Colorado games played in snow, and I didn't want any part of that.
Yeah, there's been a few of those. I think it was the one in 2020 was like basically on a sheet of ice, it felt like.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a good game. It's going to be an interesting one. Because of the fact they just met in the bowl game, and but both teams are going to be very different. And I was kind of joking with you before we started. I wrote a written preview on the Cougars about 10 days before we did this, and it will be very different today than then. I mean, things have changed for BYU because of what's going on with their quarterback. And let's just start there because that's the latest news with BYU is Jake Retzlaff obviously is not going to be with the program anymore. Can you just talk about the latest with that and kind of how that impacts BYU?
Yeah, the latest was so in May 21st, a woman filed a civil lawsuit against Jake alleging rape, strangulation, some really ugly stuff. Um, and then last Friday, Jake's attorneys finally responded and basically denied all of the allegations that were criminal, but they did acknowledge consensual sex that night and that night happened. They were together that night. So basically, that happened on Friday. Well, on Sunday, news started to get out that Jake was facing a 7-game suspension from BYU for violating the honor code, which some of your viewers or listeners might be familiar with. But basically, one of the strictures of the honor code is prohibition against premarital sex. So later Sunday, I reported through some sources that Jake was definitely transferring out of BYU.
Mhm.
That you can't really say go into the transfer portal because it's not really open right now. But as a graduate transfer, he's pretty free to go wherever he wants, even at this late date. Um, I know where he's going. I haven't reported it yet, but it's a big time top 10 program. And he's had several big time programs after him, and that news will break here pretty soon. But so that leaves BYU basically with a lot of inexperience at quarterback. Right now, there's basically three guys in the quarterback room. Um, McKay Hillstead, a Utah State transfer, Trayson Bourget, a Western Michigan transfer, and then a true freshman named Bear Bachmeyer, who was at Stanford in spring ball, a four-star recruit. And he decided to go in the transfer portal for some reason at Stanford, probably because of the coaching change there and the upheaval that's gone on there. So he's now in the room, and it's kind of a three-way derby. It's really tough to call who will be the guy, but no doubt about it, they'll miss Retzlaff. It's a big blow to BYU. You just can't get around that.
Yeah, and you obviously saw them every game last year. I always saw them in person the one time, but wound up seeing them on TV quite a bit. It seemed like every time I would, get back to a hotel on a road trip or whatever, BYU was playing a late game or something like that. But statistically, he didn't wow anybody. I mean, he probably threw too many picks, and even in the bowl game threw a couple of them. But he just seemed to be um I don't know if heart and soul of the team is right, but he seemed to be that the sort of the heartbeat of that offense a little bit. And so where is it the intangibles are going to miss more than anything? It feels like they'll have an easier time replacing the production than maybe what he brought to the table.
Yeah, and his biggest thing that he had was the knowledge of the offense. It's a pretty intricate offense
Hmm.
that Aaron Roderick runs at BYU, and a lot of people have told me it's hard to learn, and so they'll miss that. He was very good with his feet. He was very good at eluding and getting out of the pocket and picking up yards, and with his feet. They'll miss that. He got better last year at turnovers. Avoiding turnovers than he played 4 games in 2023. They lost
Hmm.
all 4 games after Keaton Slovis got hurt, and he was not good. He turned the ball over way too much. He cut down on those turnovers quite a bit this past year. He didn't complete a lot of passes, maybe 56%, so they wanted him to improve that. But he'll be missed, like you said, the intangibles. He was the team leader. BYU put him out there because he was a Jewish quarterback, first in school history, and it was kind of a novelty and a unique thing. And BYU got a lot of positive publicity out of it. And so that's now pretty much gone, and they're starting from scratch at the quarterback position.
Yeah, and the one thing, the obviously I don't know him, but did get to interact very little bit, pre-bowl stuff down in San Antonio, and the thing that impressed me was very confident young man, and sometimes it's hard to get that. I mean, you get that through experience, right? And so that's maybe one of the things I feel like the new quarterback might lack, at least initially. So how much does this change the outlook for BYU? And the preview magazines I've seen, they're not projected to win the conference, but they're up there. I mean, coming off of a year they had, how does this change the outlook, do you think?
Yeah, I think it changes it a lot. I think they're not doing the Big 12 preseason media poll this year, so it's going to be I know there are other outlets out there that do them and all that, but yeah, they probably dropped from somewhere around fifth or sixth, which I would have probably put them at maybe to ninth or 10th.
Hmm.
I was talking to somebody from Vegas who does those win totals, and they said that BYU would probably drop 2 wins,
Wow.
going from projected 8.5 to 6.5 on the Las Vegas line, however they do that. So that's pretty significant. So yes, there's no way around it. Expectations have certainly plummeted for the Cougars.
Well, Buff fans hope that one of those losses is here in Boulder,
Yeah.
obviously, but I mean, they're still moving away from quarterback. I mean, there's still a lot of talent. I mean, LJ Martin is back. Chase Roberts is back. I mean, there's some good players that are back on this team. A lot of holes to fill, like everybody, but there's still a good amount of talent coming back on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you start on offense. They were kind of looking to replace a tight end. They got Carson Ryan from
Yep.
Utah, who has also been at UCLA. He was kind of the star of spring camp. So he's in the fold. Chase Roberts is an all-conference level receiver. They did suffer a big loss when Keelan Marion
Hmm.
transferred, went looking for a better NIL deal, got it at Miami. He was a standout kick returner. He returned 2 kicks for touchdowns against Utah and Wyoming. So he's gone. Uh, they've got some other good receivers, JoJo Phillips being one. Childhood friend of Bronny James, who I guess announced today that he was retiring from the NBA already. But that's kind of an aside. But no, um, they should be set offensively at everything but quarterback. Defensively, they're pretty loaded too. They got most of their guys back there as well.
Yeah, and that was a defense, obviously, it was pretty salty. But the Buffs saw that this last year. And they also got Kalani Sitake back. And that's huge. I think when you have the continuity head coach and just following the BYU program over the years, that 23 season when they go 5-7, that was really a blip. I mean, this program's used to winning a lot of football games. And so I would imagine that's still going to be a winning football team, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if I had to project, I would project probably a 7-5 type record,
Hmm.
6-6. Obviously we don't know really what the quarterback situation is going to be, but yeah, there's still a lot of talent. They brought in Jay Hill from Weber State, the head coach there, to be the defensive coordinator a couple years ago, and he's turned that defense around a lot. it was really wild to see. I've covered them for whatever it's been since 2008, and that last year's defense was one of the best BYU's had. And they, like I said, they got most of the guys back. They did lose a linebacker, Harrison Taggart, to Cal on another NIL deal, as I'm sure the Buffs have lost a lot of guys on
Yeah.
NIL deals, and it's just the world we live in now, where the rosters are just changing night and day. But yeah, they've got a winning tradition. They've got a good home field advantage, one of the best in the West and in the Big 12, which is good for a couple wins a season, it seems like. So yeah, I don't expect a huge drop off, but they will really, really struggle to repeat what they did last year.
Yeah, Marion and Taggart are both guys that looked at BYU or looked at Colorado actually, and Buff
Mhm.
fans I know were hoping that those guys Buffs need a linebacker, and so Taggart would have been great here, but wound up going to Cal. Uh, Last thing I can get you out of here, but the move to the Big 12. This is year three now for BYU, and I remember talking to a couple of the guys in San Antonio about how big of a deal it was to be in the Alamo Bowl last year, and some of those older guys had been on some good teams early in their careers that you could win 10, 11 games previously at BYU and you wind up at a lesser bowl. And now you have a big season, you're in a big bowl. And so what do you think that a year like last year and doing it in the Big 12 has done for this program to kind of really boost, you know, maybe the confidence or, just boost the profile of the program?
Yeah, they've made tremendous strides. It's been a godsend, and everyone knew it would be. Around here, a lot of people saw what happened to Utah, whatever it's been 15 years ago when they went to
Mhm.
the Pac-12, and how much that improved recruiting. I was just looking, BYU just got a four-star recruit today for that class of 2026, and now they're ranked in the top 25 of the 247 Sports team rankings, which is almost unheard of for
Mhm.
BYU. I can't remember them ever be above or below or whatever it is, 50. They've always been in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Right now, they just got a five-star recruit, Ryder Lyons, who's going to go on a mission first, I guess. He tells everybody it's a one-year mission, which I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Right.
Uh, Most of them are two, if your
Right.
viewers don't realize. But yeah, they've just made huge strides in recruiting and in more fan involvement, in NIL, in more booster involvement. And I say it all the time. It's a good time to be Kalani Sitake right now because he's got it going in Provo.
Yeah, other than the fact that he's got to find a new quarterback for this year,
Right. Yeah,
but
there's that.
he's one of those coaches that you know I feel like he pushes a lot of the right buttons, and they're gonna be a tough out against anybody. And but I'm looking forward to it. BYU has not been to Boulder in a very long time. I think it's I want to say late '80s or no, early '80s. I think
Yeah.
it was.
I know they played in the Freedom Bowl. Obviously, that wasn't in Boulder. That was in Anaheim. But
Yeah,
I'd have to. I don't think BYU hasn't been to Boulder.
I think
At
it was
least
'81 or '82.
that might be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. I mean, I would, it hasn't been announced as a sellout. I would expect it to be a sellout. But that's gonna be a fun one in Boulder. And yeah, I'm glad you get to see your first game at Folsom Field.
Should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. And we'll see you probably in Dallas and also in Boulder later this year.
Yeah. Dallas next week is coming fast.